Hey guys, how you doing today? I built myself a new wooden box for my Honda here with a lid on it, lots of storage in there. I was always running short of places to put things, so I built this box, and this little video is just going to give you an idea of the steps that I took to make the box. It's all about the woodworking that I put in it. So it's not going to be for everyone, but if you want to see how I built this box from scratch using some plywood and a little bit of hardwood, stay with me and watch through the video. Thanks, and if you like it, please subscribe. And of course, the first thing I had to do, of course, was use measuring tape and measure it to see how big the rack is. The box does fit right on the rack. So I realized real quickly it was about 4 feet wide and a little over 2 feet, maybe 27 inches or so in towards the windshield. So I'll use those measurements to come up with some sort of a plan and use the plywood. Yeah, so I'll start the process here now just by making a little sketch and see what I come up with for ideas. So here's my little plan. This is going to be the general idea of the box here. Pieces here, some measurements, some cut points and things. And here is where I did all the rough measurements laid out on a piece of 4x8 plywood. I'm going to try and do the whole thing just with one sheet of plywood. Here we have some more detailed measurements and shapes of the pieces that I'll cut to make sure I can get all that out of the one sheet of plywood. This is the box. It's just a little less than 4 feet wide and 2 feet deep. 16 inches high at the back and 14 inches high at the front. It should work pretty good. Here I'm cutting some 3/4 inch hardwood ribs to use as stiffeners. So I've just drilled some recessed holes here in this board. This board is going to be cut up into 6 pieces that are going to make bezels. 1 bezel for each weeping hole in the bottom and 2 bezels for ventilation along the sides of the box. You see right here and a little bit closer up, you can see where the recess here, it's about just a little less than 1/4 of an inch. That's going to hold a piece of screen in there. We'll go on to the next step now. And here is the next part of the bezel done. I've cut them out around on the with a hole saw. Next thing I'll do is drill a through hole through the center. A through hole now. A little bit of cleanup now, and this one will be all ready to go. I'm cutting some rounds of screen. These will fit into those little recesses that I made. 2 pieces of screen for each hole. The little pieces of screen fit quite nice down into these little recesses I drilled on top of these bezels. Now I put a little bead of silicone around the edge. Here's the silicone around the edge. Now I'll take 2 pieces of screen, put them together, and set them down inside the silicone. I'll use the head of a small nail to set the screen into the silicone. Now we'll just set these aside, let that silicone set. And this is the bezel that I made earlier. I'll screw that on right there, and that'll provide some ventilation inside the box. There, bezel. When I'm working with pressure treated plywood to use outside, I like to use this Gorilla Glue. It fills in the cracks really good, it expands, and you can see along here where I put some on the top and it's foamy. And then you just use a scraper and just scrape it off. It's really good stuff. Now it's time to attach the lid. Put that on. And I'm going to use a piano hinge to secure the top to the case. There, that finishes the lid and the hinge. Because this box is going to be used outside, what I like to do is take these edges of the plywood and cover them with a piece of pressure treated wood, and that keeps the laminations together. This is a small strip of wood that I'll use to cover the edges of the plywood. Now that the box is pretty well complete with all the pieces on it, I'm going to do some sanding. Now that the sanding is complete, I can go ahead and put some primer on it now. You may have had a glimpse of this a little earlier. Inside the lid, what I did is I put some strips in here, some 3/4 inch hardwood strips. What they're going to do, they're going to reinforce the top from twisting and bending too much. But while I was at it, I thought it'd be a great idea to put a little piece of plexiglass across here, and that's going to be a pocket. I can put my documents and maps and things in there, and small little things. Now that the primer is dry, it's a good chance to put on a coat of finished top coat. I chose green for the first coat, but things are going to change after the first coat dries. The last step here now is just to dab on some colors, a little bit of gray and light colors, and mix it with some green, and get some camouflage going on here. Well, here it is, all finished. my camouflaged cargo box. A couple of things I did do to help protect from water is inside the box here, I put some seals. In between the lid and the case, I put this seal right in here. It's pretty hard to see right now, but it's a compression seal. When the box closes up, the seal compresses against the backside of the box, and hopefully it's going to prevent the water coming in. Also, I put some vinyl across the top covering the hinge. Here's the vinyl that I used. You can see it's got a piece of foam on the inside and a thin web. I just laid that against it and used some upholstery staples to attach it. No idea how long it's going to last or if it's going to be effective, but something like this, I have to start somewhere. Hopefully this will do it. Then to help some more water penetration, I put a lip seal around the underneath side of the box. This white vinyl stapled on there, and when the box closes down, I don't know if we're going to be able to see it or not, but it will kind of wipe the edge of the top of the box and prevent the water coming in. That's the plan anyway. Well, there's the box all mounted up on the back of the Honda. Take a walk around it here, have a real quick look. That's it, all nice and neat. Tied on there real good and tight with some bolts and some screws. Inside the box here, you'll be able to see that we got some stuff going on in here already. Heading out tomorrow morning for a good run, and we'll check and see what that's like. hopefully it'll work pretty good. Well, that's my box. We built that in the shop here, and hopefully it's going to work pretty good. So thanks very much for watching. I'm glad you stayed with me to see how I built this, and maybe that might even inspire someone else to build one for their Honda or any other, either an ATV or a side-by-side. It should work good, but you'll find out soon. Heading out tomorrow. Thanks for watching.